with your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
I legitimately watched the entire women's triathlon the other day. I gotta tell you, that was exhilarating stuff. I was locked in because what's going on, everybody? Welcome into a Friday edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV, channel 217, the home studio in Roxbury, New Jersey. I am your host, Andrew Romanella, and boy, am I excited to be back in my main chair today. I feel like I got a great show for the people. I feel like I'm back. I'm rejuvenated from vacation. I'm energized, and I'm excited to chat with the people. Before we get into the meat and the potatoes of the show, we give you the appetizer, which is The Rome Show 1 on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter X, Facebook, or wherever you are on social medias. We remind you to support the network, support the show any way you can. Head to 12ouncesports.com/sponsors, and you can see how. Or during our fantastic show today on this Friday, why don't you just check out the commercials that we play, some promo codes along the way in there as well. Aaron Judge got a little bit of heat from the head coach of the South Shore Little League team that was from Staten Island in New York, that was playing in the Little League World Series. I don't know if anyone listening to the show saw this. They did a phenomenal job, at least in my opinion, of the Little League World Series Major League Baseball game, which has now become a staple during the Major League Baseball season. And I think it's genius. We'll get into that a little bit, but more so the comments from the Staten Island coach, which I think were completely off base, were unnecessary. And I think a terrible example for those 10, 11, and 12-year-olds that he was coaching. So we got to talk a little bit about that. Plus, I got some video for you and a quote. The Mariners, they made some news the other day, which we'll get into. We got some college football news. That's right. I mean, you got to think, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are in the thick of it. By the time the Rome Show is broadcasting on September 22nd, we'll be in week 3 of college football season and week 3 of the National Football League. And we will have 2 weeks remaining in Major League Baseball, which is probably going to be the most fun part of the season. So we got to talk a little bit about the college football, and then maybe a little NFL if we have time as well. Plus daily bananas. We are hot. 5 straight picks for the kids. So get on the train while the train is moving downhill. Okay, we'll start it with a little straight off the Rome. Oh, that's the Twitter song. All right. So I'm going to pop this up on the screen, and I need you to take a look at it, especially if you are watching live. If you are not watching live, that's okay. I retweeted it, I believe. If I didn't retweet it, I'll retweet it at the Rome Show 1, Instagram, Twitter. All right, so here we go. This is what the head coach from South Shore Little League said after the Major League game that was played at the Little League World Series in Williamsport. I think it was the Yankees versus the Tigers. I thought it was so cool. I thought the game was awesome. And it seemed to be that what Major League Baseball was trying to get out of the Little League World Series combo with Major League Baseball, in my opinion, is exactly what happened. I thought it was positive. I thought it was great. I thought baseball's done a phenomenal job with this game. I think even though baseball is probably behind in terms of the innovation for its sport, it's probably behind in terms of the popularity for its sport. There's probably a lot of places in America where soccer is a chosen sport before baseball. But I do think it stays long-term because of the other sports that provide contact. that I also think provide a scare for parents when they're thinking about putting their kid into a sport. So that we won't fully dive into today, but I said all that because that is exactly what this little league game is. Okay. And this is what the head coach said from the Staten Island team, South Shore Little League. His name is Bob Laterza. Now, I spent a lot of time recruiting in South Shore, not in their Little League, obviously. And I'm just a little disturbed that when New York was on the spotlight, this is what happened. He had this to say, how about turning around and waving to New York and the kids that think you're a hero? They are the ones who pay your salary. After we win this thing, they ain't taking pictures with us. So apparently Aaron Judge was on deck. The kids were screaming his name. According to the coach, Laterza, he didn't even acknowledge the kids. Now, I'm going to pop up a video on the screen, and I want you to tell me if you truly believe that Aaron Judge is not about the kids. A, okay? And B, and I think we can play this video while I am playing on the screen. Okay, I've removed the volume of the video so that you can be talking with me while watching. So now, this is Aaron Judge walking into the ballpark in Williamsport for this game today. Okay, does this look like a man? Now, this video clip I'm playing for you is 1 minute and 4 seconds. Okay. This man walks about 10 to 20 feet max because of the amount of people that he's saying hi to the autograph that he's signing, because he's doing exactly what Aaron Judge does, which is be one of the, if not the best ambassador for the game of baseball for the youth. And so as you watch this video, I think the same thing that I thought yesterday while I was reading the story is going to go through your mind. And it's, what is this guy talking about? What are you talking about? I understand that he is the New York Yankees captain and your team is from Staten Island. But my guy, there are probably 300 little leaguers from across 16 states or countries. So 9 countries, I guess you call it, because the United States bracket is 8 states in 1 country. So 9 countries are represented. Probably about 300 kids. I don't know. I'm probably off a little bit. Maybe 150, maybe 2. I don't care. Whatever. It's triple digits of kids. He's going there. He also has a job to do. And he makes time the entire day for these kids. The entire day. And by the way, you're bashing a guy that's about to be in a Paw Patrol episode. By the way, the video just ended. You tell me whether or not those comments were true or not. And I'll put them back up on the stage, the screen really quick if you want to read it again yourself. How about turning around and waving to the New York kids? Bro, first off, terrible example to your kids on how to handle a situation you don't like. Oh, so you don't like that Aaron Judge didn't single you and your guys out. Now all of a sudden you're going to blast him like he's a terrible person. That's the first thing. Okay. Terrible example to set for your kids. That's not how you handle that situation. I bet being at the Little League World Series and being from New York, you could have gotten somebody to talk to in the Yankees organization and be like, hey man, I'm a little disappointed. Like, our guys really thought that they were going to get some personal time with Aaron Judge, or they thought that Aaron Judge was going to say something to them. The case is, and they didn't. And I bet the New York Yankees would have handled it beautifully. Okay. Be a mature adult, man. That's embarrassing. And this is like what I've understood. And I don't know Aaron Judge personally. I just know what I've read and learned about his 10-year career. The guy's phenomenal. Aaron Judge is one of, from what is understood, the best players in Major League Baseball from both the standpoint of playing the game of baseball, but also being a human that is an ambassador for the game, gives back to the kids. He's the Roberto Clemente Award winner from 2023 for the work he has done in his kids' foundation. This is the last person that should be getting any heat. And the third thing is just look what he did, man. For probably 12 hours, I don't know how long, but probably a long time leading up to that game, he did everything for the kids. Everything. Met with kids, took pictures with kids, probably did some cool, fun stuff. He probably did everything. And it's true. You can find videos and pictures and stuff of it. That's why Twitter and all those things are fantastic, right? So at the end of the day, he gets to the time of playing baseball in a fight for the AL East where his organization hasn't won a championship in 15 years and people just crush him constantly. 25 years. Yeah, I could understand why he was in the on deck circle locked, not thinking about the Staten Island Little League team at that time. Well, the Yankees responded, and I'm very, very happy they did. Okay. And the Yankees had a really good response. Aaron Judge had a really good response. They said, Aaron Judge is one of the great ambassadors of our sport. Our roster spent the day in Williamsport connecting with many little leaguers as they possibly could prior to our team, including the team from Staten Island. Okay. Furthermore, the Yankees said that the schedule wasn't organized by the Yankees nor our players, which I thought was a great line because it's almost like he took a shot at Aaron Judge for not choosing to take time with the Staten Island team. This man doesn't really get a choice in those scenarios. And that, because Staten Island played on Sunday, the Yankees stated, our players went out of their way to spend time with them in the moments immediately before our game against the Tigers. Sunday was when they played the Tigers in the Little League game. We wish Staten Island success in winning the championship. They eventually didn't. The Yankees statement said, win or lose, we intend to invite them to Yankee Stadium. However, it would have been much better if Staten Island's coach called us to understand the facts before bitterly reacting in such a public fashion. Reaching out to us would have been the prudent way to act and would have set a fine example for his young players. Aaron Judge always acts with kindness and respect. The coach could learn a lot from him. Yo, dude, seriously? From the New York Yankees? Yeah. Coach LaTurza, you're the problem in youth sports. Just want you to understand that. I'm not going to sit here and crush you. I'm actually trying to be calmer in these scenarios. I'm over people like this. I think a lot of people are over people like this. They don't get their way. They say what they want. If they don't get their way, they go kicking and screaming. You know, I used to do that. I did. I was the worst, right? But you know what? Some of that might pop up here and there. That's being a human. But I'll tell you what, that's when I was 9 years old. 9, 10, 12, maybe even. But when you're a 50, 60-year-old man coaching Little League baseball, at some point you got to grow up, dog. So let's play this back. You're the coach of Staten Island's Little League team, okay? You're, in a way, wanting Aaron Judge to spend time with your guys. You get a chance to be on national television in an interview or quoted after the game, and here's how you do this. Coach, let me go ahead and give you an example, all right? I'll even get up from the screen, and I'll sit down. All right, how we doing? Any questions? Yeah, reporter in the back. Coach, here's the deal. How'd you feel the game was today? Did you enjoy the Major League Baseball experience? Well, thank you for the question. I really did enjoy the game. It was a super awesome experience for my kids. I thought, what a great way for Major League Baseball to connect youth baseball with the stars and the future of our game moving forward. I thought it was a great way to grow the game, and I had a lot of fun. The game was great. The guys had a great time. I think the only thing they were a little disappointed in is they probably wanted some real New York one-on-one time with Aaron Judge. It's difficult. Hey, he's going out there. He's trying to win games. They're trying to win the AL East. But I know for a fact those kids think Aaron Judge is a hero. So if they had the chance to, maybe sit in the dugout with him or something, that'd be phenomenal. But maybe we'll set that up for another day back in New York. But either way, the game was phenomenal. We had an awesome time, and we're excited to keep playing in the tournament. Done. Okay, you want to throw your little bit of shade. You're a little annoyed they didn't get Aaron Judge time, but you got to say that there is here. All of those things, you got to do it right there. There it is. And I bet if you say it that way, the Yankees reach out and say, hey, coach, we heard your comments. Really appreciate the fact that your kids want to spend time with Aaron Judge. Let's set something up. Done. Over. Instead, you look like a loser. You call out probably the nicest guy in the game of baseball, which is also embarrassing, at the wrong time. It's time to grow the game. It is not time to knock anybody down, especially the right person for the game. And you teach the wrong example to your kids, which is the point of Little League, to teach them the right way to play the game, to act, to operate. So that all disappointed me. And I'm really, really appreciative of the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge and even Aaron Boone for their response. Let's finish with this. Aaron Boone said Aaron Judge is a role model worth celebrating, not simply because of his skills and accomplishments on the field, but because of the way he wholeheartedly embraces making a positive impact on those who look up to him. Aaron Judge said, I got no response for this. I'm not going to give him a response because it's about the kids. Check. This is what it's all about. We got a chance to spend a lot of time with quite a few kids in Williamsport, make some great memories, had a great time at the game, besides the loss. So I kind of want that to be the focus. I don't really want to put any weight into the comments. This is the best line from Aaron Judge. And this is the nail in the coffin, whatever analogy you want to use, to this coach who really, really, really messed up in this light. And again, it's stupid and annoying. I don't really put any weight into the comments. I play in front of 40,000 every single night. And if I get booed, and I get booed if I go 0 for 1. So I'm not willing to put any weight into this. Any coach out there, especially coaching little leaguers, right? Every opportunity is impressionable. So you have to do the best you can, right? To set the example. And you might not always be right. Okay. And maybe coach here thought he was doing the right thing. I don't know how, but maybe he did. And he's learned he didn't. Okay. But when it comes to the right people, the guys that are doing the right thing, that are growing the game, can we relax? Okay. And please, please stop watching videos on Instagram and Twitter of baseball players in the on-deck circle talking to the fans. You're right. That happens. Those videos are probably 0.05%. Like, hitting a baseball is hard. So to not do your routine every day, then you're probably not one of the best Major League Baseball players in the history of the game, which Aaron Judge is. So sorry if I was trying to continue this historic season I'm having and continuing to be the best baseball player in the game while also trying to get my team a World Series for the first time in my career, that if in that 32 seconds on deck, while our team needed a big at bat, I wasn't locked in on the kids and waving. Because unfortunately, the point of that was before the game. Now it's time to play. So, interesting situation at the Little League World Series. And this is why, ultimately, I probably have had negative thoughts towards the Little League World Series most of my life. I don't know how many of these guys are there, how many of it's right. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or not for the game. I think the Little League World Series concept is phenomenal. But I do think the miking up of the coaches and all this other, some of it's a little bit too much. Like, at the end of the day, it's just about the kids, man. And I don't necessarily need to hear about this. This is what happens now. You get these coaches with egos or feel like they deserve something, and then they start bashing the wrong people. Whatever. Either way, shout out to the Yankees and Aaron Judge for their response on that. And over here, the Rome Show, we'll tell you that Aaron Judge quite possibly could be my favorite baseball player in Major League Baseball right now. That's how much I love watching him play, and I love him as a human and ambassador for the game. The Seattle Mariners no longer have Scott Servais as an ambassador for their team. We will dissect that after the commercial break, plus some info out of Iowa's suspension for their head coach. And did you know Pete Carroll might be a teacher? What? After the commercial break, the Rome Show here, 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV, channel 217.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right. At 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Yeah, it's the Rome Show here, 12ouncesports.com. Dingo TV channel 217. Andrew Romanella here. Got you for another 8 minutes or so. The Rome Show on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, X, whatever the hell you call all these things. Just follow us. We appreciate that. 12 Ounce Sports, all the same social medias as well. The Rome Show podcast. If you miss any part of the show, let's get right into it. Scott Servais fired by the Seattle Mariners. You might be asking why he was fired by the Seattle Mariners. Well, let me tell you this. The Mariners have been the worst team in Major League Baseball outside of like the White Sox since June 18th. They are 20-33. Now, if you went into the season thinking that you wouldn't be that good of a ball club, I could understand why, maybe he would last or that why that record wouldn't be like terrible. It's like kind of what the A's have been all year. But at the time of June 18th hitting, the Seattle Mariners were 10 games up in the AL West. Now the Seattle Mariners are 5.5 games back of the Houston Astros in the AL West. So Scott Servais out as the manager of the Mariners. Here's the crazy thing, though. Since 2016, Servais has been the manager of the Mariners. He's got a career .680 and .642 record as the manager of the Seattle Mariners. That's a .515 winning percentage, which is good for, you guessed it, second all time in Seattle Mariners history. So do I understand that his team is 13 games under 500 and lost a 10-game lead in the AL West since June 18th? Yes. But you also got to understand that the Houston Astros are the best team in Major League Baseball since their first 36 games of the season. Hence why I tell people 40, whatever. Okay, you split the season up, whatever, 60. My math's off today, 42. There's your 42. Their first 42, terrible. But they dominated their next 60, and they're dominating their second 60. So that's how the season works. And the Mariners dominated their first half and have not their second half. But I just find it interesting that in a place in Seattle where it's been really tough to win to begin with, you would get rid of a guy that has been a historic manager in your organization's history. Now, I do get it sometimes, like it's time for a change and you're up and you have a chance and all these things. Okay, I get it. But I just found that interesting. I mean, you saw this downtick happening way earlier than 2 days ago, right? So why not just let him go out the year? Guy's done great things for your organization. If you already think you're right now in terms of the AL wild card positioning, they're 7.5 games back. So it's not even like that's feasible either. So let the guy coach out the rest of his time. You're already not making the playoffs. The collapse is essentially already done. And then move on. But I guess not. Maybe they think they'll spin it around, then they'll win 20 straight. I have no idea, but he's out as the Mariners manager. So we'll see. They got an interim guy, obviously, and what happens moving forward. But it's just a tough franchise to win in. And it's been a tough franchise to win in for a really long time now. So we'll see if they can spin that around. All right. Let's continue. Oh, I should be hitting this sounder, shouldn't I? Sure. Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz the longtime head coach for Iowa, the longest tenured head coach in FBS, has been at Iowa since 1999. Head coach Kirk Ferentz and his assistant coach have been suspended for Iowa's first game against Illinois State on August 31st. Why were they suspended for one game? For Iowa's self-imposed sanctions for a 2022 recruiting violation by Coach Ferentz, where he contacted a player before he entered the transfer portal. That player is competing to be the quarterback for the team right now. So it's not like this stuff even really matters to these guys. Like, I'll take a 1-game suspension for whatever. Guy's never done anything wrong in his career. Longest tenured coach, whatever. All the good things about him. I don't even have to say them. So interesting. But I just wrote this little note down. This is college sports. This has always been college sports. So if people are surprised by this, that's stupid. More or less, I just think it's funny that they're handing down 1-game suspensions on the first week of the season. When in actuality, and then they can't like recruit off campus for like a week. It's like, does that really hurt the team? So that's the interesting part. Like, maybe if the sanctions were worse, the people would actually think about not doing these things. But since the sanctions are almost embarrassing, the kid can play football this year on the team. It's like, what are we even doing? So either way, that's happening. And then what also is happening is, speaking of sanctions, former head coach of USC, Pete Carroll, is becoming a professor at USC. That's right. He's going to be teaching a class. I don't know exactly what class. Couldn't find that. But once we find out, we'll let you know. And then Lincoln Riley, head football coach at USC, said, I'd be crazy to not have Pete Carroll helping us out a little bit. I don't think he means necessarily from the standpoint of coaching, but maybe like an advisor or something. Pete Carroll, longtime USC head coach in the Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart era, we all believe went to the Seattle Seahawks because he was getting a bunch of sanctions imposed on him for recruiting Reggie Bush illegally. I bet that just blew out in the wind because Reggie Bush got his Heisman back and all. It's illegal to pay players. That is just why college sports is such a fraud. It's so funny sometimes. And finally, the Commanders trade third-year pro Josh Dotson to the Eagles. Wide receiver had 49 receptions, 518 yards, and 4 TDs for the Washington Commanders in 2023. The Eagles gave up a 25 fifth-round pick for that. Oh, and one more. I wanted to add this from last week. We were talking about wide receivers to draft in fantasy football. I think you should go T. Higgins, especially for early in the season. T. Higgins steps in as the number 1 wide receiver while Jamar Chase is out right now. I don't know how long Jamar Chase is out for, but also all indications out of camp is Burrows looks good and T. Higgins looks good. Just a sleeper guy there to think about in later rounds that could actually have one value earlier in the season. And then finally, it is time for your Daily Bananas. All right, I told you we had a great day on Thursday. I took the Oakland A's over the Tampa Bay Rays. I was right about that. The A's won 3-1. Oswaldo Bibo went 5 innings. He had 2 hits, 6 Ks, and only gave up 1 run for the Athletics, beating the Rays. And then I had the Yankees over the Guardians. Yeah, we were right about that. The aforementioned Aaron Judge hit his 48th homer. He's on pace for 61 homers. And the Yankees beat the Guardians 6-0. We moved to 68 and 53. I'll bang this out quickly for the people. We're sticking with the Yankees. They're playing Colorado. I'm going to take them over 8.5 or 9.5. The line moves depending on the site you go to, whatever. Just give me runs over and give me the Yankees money line. I'm going to parfait that one. And then I got the Blue Jays over the Los Angeles Angels. You might say, why did you choose that, Andrew? Because the Blue Jays are 6-4 in their last 10, 2 straight wins, and the Angels are 2-8 in their last 10. I've told you this multiple times this year. I look for the really bad teams, and kind of sometimes, no matter who they're playing, I go attack that team because I'm like, you know what? The Angels stink. They're bad in their last 10. They've lost 3 straight. There's a lost season. Trout's out, yada, yada, yada. Give me the Blue Jays, who are still hanging on by a thread, fighting deep out of the wild card race. And those are your Daily Bananas for this Friday. And that has been the Rome Show. 12ouncesports.com, Dingo TV, 217. The replay at noon on Dingo 217. You can download that app wherever you want. It's free. It is awesome. Get the pod wherever you listen to pods. Follow us on social media. We'll be back on Monday, 7 a.m. Thank you, and I'll see you later. Peace!
Thank you for listening.